All right. Welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Huge bomb dropped this morning. The Eagles, the Eagles have definitely received offers for Carson Wentz, and the huge thing is that there was a huge report that came out. Les Bowen of the Philadelphia Inquirer, I believe, came out and said that there was a deal that was definitely close. So it's no surprise to me, honestly, as I mentioned in previous streams. Once the report first came out, I mentioned this a couple of days ago, that I expect the Carson to be gone with the first couple of weeks, and would not be surprised if he was dealt by Super Bowl Sunday. Just knowing how Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie like to do business, they definitely want to steal the headlines as much as they possibly can. And what a better way to steal headlines than to get a hold of that Super Bowl weekend media, for sure. So the other thing to note as well is Indianapolis Colts GM Chris Ballard was talking about whether or not they were fielding calls and exploring quarterback options. And he did go ahead and say that they were exploring all options, and that he went ahead and say, let me just say this, quote unquote, that there will not be a trade done today. Now, that means that there's definitely something going on in the works. Let's say that it is Carson. Let's say that it is the Colts that Carson does get traded to. That is the 21st pick in the first round. And it's a little high for it's a little low in the first round for my liking, to be completely honest with you. But honestly, the reports are this is that the Indianapolis Colts have made an offer, and right now, as it stands, the Bears have offered the largest trade compensation for Carson Wentz. So unless somebody completely blows them away, then Carson could possibly be traded to the Bears. But here's the thing as well. There's also reports that are coming out that are saying that the Eagles are putting out this information, and they're just trying to generate trade buzz for Carson Wentz. It's hard to grab a hold of that one. And the reason why is because, as we all know, guys, where there's smoke, there's fire. And that is usually the case with this team, is usually when reports come out all hot and heavy and fierce and fiery like this, it usually means that something is imminent. Now I'll go ahead and say this. And I said this in my last stream too. I was a huge fan of Carson Wentz. I was a huge fan of Carson Wentz. I still am a huge fan of Carson Wentz. And I really wish things worked out a little bit differently. Am I a little upset with the way that he's been acting and handling the entire situation? Sure. Yeah, I am. I am a little bit upset and upset. I'm a little bit of upset and irritated with the way that he's been handling the entire situation. But how do you expect the guy to respond? How do you expect a guy to act when the organization screws him as much as they screwed him? He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't trust these guys. And we just got Franklin, who just joined in. Let's see what he's got to say. Have you heard Zach Ertz, Carson Wentz traded together? They're talking about a possible bundle. I have heard that. I have heard that, Franklin. I certainly have, and I think it's absolutely likely. I really do. I think the Indianapolis Colts have showed interest in Zach Ertz. We kind of heard that a couple weeks ago, and obviously we know very well that the Indianapolis Colts have showed interest in Carson Wentz. Now we can go ahead and say that it is just the media. And that they really haven't, and that it's just the media kind of stirring up some crazy stuff. But I just don't believe that to be true. And just like I just said, usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And he says, what do you think we can get, Franklin? Here's the thing. I honestly don't know what we can get, but I'll tell you this. I'm not moving Carson unless we get something for at least a first round pick. I don't want to move Carson for anything less than a first round pick. That's the thing. So I think the Colts giving us their 21st pick in the first round. And I was just talking about this. It's a little low in the first round for my liking, but but would it certainly do it? Sure. I think that they need to offer. I think they need to offer their first round pick, possibly a third, maybe a first and a player. I think that that's where I think that is what Carson is still worth. I think that he had one bad season, but I don't think that that one bad season should decrease his trade value. Because here's the thing. What the Eagles are probably mentioning to teams to boost up his trade value is, look, he had a pretty solid first season for a rookie quarterback. And 2017, as we all know, was absolutely that MVP season before he went down. 2018, he put up a great statistical season before Nick Foles came in and finished the season for that last 4 games. Had a 69% completion percentage, and that's kind of unheard of. That's kind of it's not entirely unheard of, but 69% completion percentage to end the season is pretty high. If we do trade Carson Wentz, do you think Howie Roseman uses one of our picks this year to pick up another quarterback? Great question. Great question. And that is certainly something that I was going to go ahead and get into as well. I'm a little bit on both sides of the coin on that one. It's a tough thing to answer. Here's the thing. I've mentioned this in the past, and I'm going to mention it now. And it's a pretty far-fetched idea. If we were to pick up an extra first round pick and say we had, the one that we have now, which is the 6th round, which is the 6th pick in the first round, and then whatever pick we get, let's say it's 21 from the Colts, I technically would not want a quarterback in the first round unless it was Trevor Lawrence. I got to be completely honest with you. And because I don't think that we're going to move up for Trevor Lawrence, and I don't think that that's necessarily going to be possible, I would say that we kind of go ahead and approach the first round like we were going to anyway. As I've said in previous streams, Kyle Pitts has really grown on me. I love Kyle Pitts out of Florida, tight end, wide receiver. You can kind of move him all over the place, create some mismatches, be a mismatch nightmare, especially for Nick Sirianni. He loves those twin tight end sets, and Kyle Pitts has known Jalen Hurts for the longest time. Possibly. Here's my thing too, and I have another guy, AJ Styles, who brought this to us as well. Kyle Trask out of Florida, and we can probably get Kyle Trask in the second round, maybe early third round. Is kind of what I'm looking at, and then have Jalen Hurts start for next season, and kind of develop Kyle Trask and see where that takes us. Because here's the thing, Kyle Trask has a tie to our new quarterback coach, Brian Johnson. I've mentioned this in previous streams. There's obviously the guys that we know that we want at pick 6. It's the Micah Parsons, it's the Jamar Chases, it's the Devontae Smiths, it's the Jalen Waddles, it's the Penei Sewells of the world at pick 6. It's the Kyle Pitts. Let's just say that we have all of those guys on the board at pick 6, and we have. It's our choice for the picking. We can pick any one of those guys that we want because they're still there on the board at pick 6. It would not surprise me one bit, because Howie Roseman is still the guy who controls the 53-man roster to go ahead and make a stupid bogus pick. And would a quarterback at 6 be a stupid bogus pick? I'm not ready to commit and say that it would, but it's just not the smartest thing to do. It's just not the smartest thing to do, Franklin. And I'll tell you why it's not the smartest thing to do, because what does that say to Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts is approaching this offseason like he's going to compete for the starting job. And you pick up a quarterback at pick 6, you're expecting that guy to start. Or you damn as well better be. Because if you're not expecting that guy at pick 6 to start, then what the hell are you doing with your first round picks? Isn't that how the formula is supposed to go? You want your first round picks to start from day 1. You want your second round picks to eventually develop into starters. You want your third rounders to possibly be, 3-4 year starters down the line. And then 5th to 7th round picks, those are all developmental players, and you hope that they pan out. right? You hope that they pan out, and they usually do. Some of them they don't usually do. Some of them do. You know what I mean? You agree completely? Of course. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like this franchise has become so dysfunctional. So dysfunctional. You know, I was listening to John McMullen earlier today, and he was saying that, like, he was talking about quarterback coach Press Taylor, right? Quarterback coach Press Taylor, how Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, they were absolutely in love with Press Taylor. They thought he was going to be the hot new thing, the hot coach. You know, they were going to develop him, they were going to promote him, and he was going to be the hot young next coach. And then as soon as and then John McMullen was pretty much saying, as soon as Doug Peterson got his hands on him, they changed their opinion on a dime. Now, that sounds irrational. That thought process sounds irrational. And then he just goes on to say this. I mean, what's going on in this organization is absolutely dysfunctional. And I mentioned this in previous streams. I think it's been dysfunctional since Andy Reid walked out the door. But honestly, let me know what you guys think in the comment box below and in the live chat, like Franklin is so gracefully doing. Yeah, I think it's been dysfunctional since Andy Reid walked out the door. I think the thing is that Andy Reid's actually a smart head coach. I think he also had the wherewithal about personnel. I think he also had the wherewithal about football operations and things like that. And so his knowledge and his mind for the game covered up a lot of the dysfunction that goes on behind closed doors within this organization. And Howie Roseman is not a football guy. We have to remember that. Howie Roseman is not a football guy. You know, Jeffrey Lurie's been having fascinations and delusions of grandeur because he lost out on the bidding war for the Patriots. You know, we have to remember that these guys aren't football guys. Jeffrey Lurie's not a football guy. Howie Roseman's not a football guy, and they're absolutely screwing the pooch. They screwed Carson big time. I don't like. Look, we can talk about how they gave Carson a 4-year, $128 million deal. Yeah, we can talk about that. We can talk about that. But he did kind of deserve that at the time. But there's so much more that goes into it. You give him that money, and your job is not done. You give him that money, and then you have to back up that support by getting him on-field support. And I'm sorry, but whiffing on DK Metcalf twice, mind you, because remember, we wanted DK Metcalf in the first round, and who did we take? Andre Dillard. And then when he was still there in the second round, we took J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Absolutely blows my marbles out of the fucking marble table, or whatever the hell they use. I think we need to work on our defense, get it good, like the Rams work on our linebackers. Oh, I don't know what to do about Jalen Mills. What do we do about Jalen Mills? Well, here's the thing. I actually do want to talk about the Jalen Mills thing. Jalen Mills wants to be back in Philadelphia. Yeah. There are some people that don't want him back whatsoever, and I gotta say I disagree with that. Here's the thing. You guys remember who we had before we had Jalen Mills? Bradley Fletcher, Carrie Mulligan. No, Carrie Mulligan's an actress. I'm sorry. Who was that guy? Who are those cornerbacks that Chip Kelly brought in? Nolan Carroll. Yeah, Nolan Carroll. Nolan Carroll was good for his first year, but guys, Jalen Mills. Yes, he's not the elite cornerback that we want, but he is versatile enough to keep as maybe like a fourth stringer. He'll add some stability. The one, yeah, you like Jalen Mills. He just needs to stay at corner. I agree with you. It's not LSU. It's not LSU. You know, he played safety corner at LSU. He did a great job at safety at LSU. And he did a great job at cornerback at LSU. But he is a slower cornerback, as we all know. But that just makes him a great red zone cornerback, and we know that as well because, you know, in 2017, that first that first game against the Falcons. He broke up the ball thrown to Julio Jones three times, and we forced turnover on downs. So I think if we can keep Jalen Mills on a cheap deal, if we can bring him back on a cheap deal, I think it's worth it. I think if he's looking for $5-6 million a year, it's tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But I definitely think that he's one of those guys that we should keep as a depth piece, because I think that he is the best depth piece that we would have in a long time if we did go ahead and bring in some quality starters like a Patrick Surtain, if that happens to be the pick at 6, or maybe Asante Samuel Jr. in the second round. I think that will be a great pickup. I've mentioned this as well in the past. Some of the guys who are going to be in free agency who are former Colts, some of the pending Indianapolis Colt free agents. There's obviously Xavier Howard. And he's probably going to be on the more expensive side. But there is safety Malik Hooker. And I think that would be a great pickup. I understand that he's coming off an Achilles injury, but just imagine if he can get back to his former self and be an elite and be elite cover safety again. That would be absolutely great. His college coach compared him to Ed Reed when he was coming out of college. He's somebody that I've always had admiration for, and definitely wanted the Eagles to select him when he was coming into the draft, but obviously he went a little bit higher than we were picking at the time. But now we have the chance to go and get him, and I think that he would definitely shore up that secondary. And working on the linebackers, I absolutely agree with you, Franklin. I absolutely agree with you. Hy Roseman needs to get over himself. And we need to bring in some linebackers. I mean, you think about Andy Reid and the defenses that we had with Jim Johnson back in the day, and you look at it this way, and we're talking about Jay Trott, we're talking about Ike Reese, we're talking about Mark Simino, we're talking about, and even before then, they made sure that the defense was absolutely loaded on all levels of the defense. Defensive line, linebackers, safeties. We had B-Dog, we had Michael Lewis, we had Sheldon Brown, we had Lito Shepherd, we had Al Harris for a little bit. And then linebacker Jay Trott, Ike Reese, Mark Simino, and them boys. And then you had Hugh Douglas and Corey Simon and those guys on the defensive line, Trent Cole. I mean, come on, a young Trent Cole at that time too, and he was a rotational player on that line at that time. So they need to really work on whatever the hell it is that they're doing, because they're not doing it successfully. I mean, you bring in. Let's go over this. Let's go over this. What did they do along the defensive line? What did they do over the last 3 years? Timmy Jernigan, right? Timmy Jernigan played great in 2017, and that was his first year with us. Timmy Jernigan was a great pickup when we traded a 3rd round pick for him. We traded a 3rd round pick to the Ravens for Timmy Jernigan. He was great alongside Fletcher Cox. But then the following year, they let go of Timmy Jernigan, but then they brought him back eventually. But then we brought in Michael Bennett. Michael Bennett didn't pan out, but we gave a ton of money to Michael Bennett. And then the following year after that, we get Malik Jackson, right? Give him a shit ton of money, 10 mil, right? 10 mil cap hit. Doesn't really pan out. Did not live up to expectation. He started to come on a little bit this year, but not. He's not worth what we were paying him. And then obviously Javon Hargrave, and we were all really stoked about Javon Hargrave, obviously, but we're plugging Javon Hargrave into a completely different defense. Like, these guys, Hy Roseman doesn't think about what he's doing. He just doesn't think about what he's doing. And now we find ourselves 60 million under the cap, and it's like, or over the cap, and it's like, do you not see why? And now they're about to eat $33 million by trading Carson Wentz. And they have to, because Carson Wentz is forcing them to. Like, did they actually really think that was a good idea? Did they really think that was a good idea? Really? Drafting Jalen Hurts? Did they think that through? Like 2 years, less than 11 months after you give this guy $128 million, you draft the quarterback in the second round. If I were Carson Wentz, I'd be confused as fuck as well. They're going to restructure the deal, Carson Wentz's deal. They did restructure Malik Jackson. That I do know. They did do that. That's true. They did restructure Malik Jackson, but that's because they're planning on letting him go. So, yeah, that's a great point. The Packers did the same thing. They drafted Jordan Love. That's right. And Aaron Rodgers was man enough to step up to the plate and prove that he deserved to be there. It's a great point. Here's the thing about that, though. Aaron Rodgers wasn't proving that he deserved to be there. Aaron Rodgers was proving that he is still a fucking elite quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is stubborn. Aaron Rodgers is as stubborn as he gets. But I love Aaron Rodgers. I absolutely love Aaron Rodgers. And to your point, Franklin, I wish Carson Wentz had that mentality. And so and that's great that you brought that up, because when Aaron Rodgers spent like 10 minutes after that Green Bay game this season talking to Carson Wentz, I thought, okay, this is good. Aaron Rodgers is giving Carson Wentz some advice. That's what I thought was going on. And we were going to see Carson Wentz, like, adopt some advice from Aaron Rodgers and come back and win us all over again. That just did not happen. It didn't happen. Look, I love Carson Wentz. Let me tell you something, Franklin. I was defending Carson Wentz to the utmost until my eyes turned fucking red. I was defending Carson Wentz. I will still defend Carson Wentz till my eyes turns red and my face turns blue. I'll look like a fucking Smurf who just, drank some bad orange juice or something. But I cannot defend what he did. Listen, here's the thing. I'm from Philadelphia. I'm from the city of Philadelphia. Been an Eagles fan since I was in the fucking hospital as an infant baby. From an infant, I know I'm gonna get the. I know. Yeah, I know that. I'm gonna get the Bears in a second. But like, I cannot defend him dipping out on the end of the season presser. I cannot defend that. And I cannot defend his silence for the last 2 months. I just can't. Listen. If you're the leader of a franchise, if you want this to be your team, if you want this to be your city, if you want to win us over as fans, and if you want to continue to do that, then you come out and you say, hey, we're going to work our asses off in the fucking off season, and hopefully we can do better next year. I'm going to make sure that I focus on everything that I need to focus on and do better next year. That's what you come out and say. That's what we need as a quarterback for the city of Philadelphia. I don't care who you are. That is the behavior that you're supposed to demonstrate as a starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. Leadership, integrity, responsibility, accountability, and you make sure that you show the ability to lead your teammates. You make sure that you show the ability to set up a great precedent for the people of the city. Because damn well knows that the people in Philadelphia need it. They need a positive influencer in fucking Philadelphia. They really do. And he is that. He's done that. So I'm not going to take his work away from him. That's for damn sure. But let me say this. He has not done that over the last 2 months. In fact, he's acting like a child. He's acting like a child. And the Bears are asking for two first-round draft picks and a player. What if that player ends up being Nick Foles? LOL. That's not happening. That's not happening. It's not happening. God, I hope not. God, I hope not. It's not happening. From the Bears. Yeah, from the Bears. Well, the Bears have given them the best offer. The Bears have given them the best offer. And I wonder if that does include Nick Foles. That'd be hilarious. That'd be absolutely hilarious. Nick Foles is worth a 7th-round pick. Unfortunately. I love Nick Foles. I love Nicky Six. But I love Big Dick Nick. But unfortunately, he's worth a 7th-round pick at this point. Yeah, it is a shame what happened, Franklin. It's a huge shame. It's a huge shame, man. It really is. It really is a huge shame. It really is a huge shame. AJ Styles, welcome, my man. Yeah, you have Kyle Pitts. You have Kyle Pitts at pick 6 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Me too. It makes too much sense. He goes way back with Jalen Hurts. He obviously has the connection to Brian Johnson, and Nick Sirianni loves to run the twin tight end sets, and he's a mismatch nightmare. Nick Sirianni obviously talked plenty about making sure that we get our mismatch nightmares in space and making sure that we take advantage of that. And Kyle Pitts is definitely going to do that. But let's continue talking about Carson Wentz because I think we're on a roll here. Look, he's worth more than what the Rams got for Jared Goff. He's still a better player than Jared Goff. The issue is this. He was not better than Jared Goff last season, but I'm not going to hold that against Carson Wentz. We got to remember this. Carson Wentz was bad. Does that mean I hate Carson Wentz? No, of course it doesn't mean that I hate Carson Wentz. I don't hate Carson Wentz. In fact, even as much as I'm upset with Carson Wentz right now, I'm probably going to root for him when he is in Indianapolis. When he's in Indianapolis, because he's probably going to Indianapolis. Let's just be real. Let's be real. He's probably going to Indianapolis. But look, I lost my train of thought. This shit drives me crazy. This shit drives me crazy. It's like Carson Wentz this, Carson Wentz that, Carson Wentz this, Carson Wentz that. It's like it's becoming the Carson Wentz show. It's not even DB talking now, DB talking Philadelphia Eagles. It's like DB talking Carson Wentz. Pretty soon we're going to start talking about Carson Wentz's wife and his newborn baby. But anyway, no, but here's the thing. Like, he had one bad season, and a lot of it was the offensive line. Who goes through 14 offensive line changes, guys? Who does that? And what organization fails to make sure that problem is fixed? What? Like, come on. Do you guys remember when Winston Justice was put in and gave 6 sacks to OCU Minora? To Donovan McNabb? Do you guys remember that? Andy Reid got that shit fixed real quick. Oh, man. He got that shit fixed real quick. Jeez Louise. You remember when we brought in Jaron Brown to play right guard? That dude got manhandled. Absolutely manhandled. Like, why did they pull... Like, when Jason Peters came back from injury and fucking... And Jordan Mailata was playing great, why did you take Jordan Mailata away from left tackle? They should have freaking cut Jason Peters 6 years ago. Now, obviously, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but like, we shouldn't have cut him 6 years ago because he was phenomenal. But it should have happened last year, guys. It shouldn't have it shouldn't have continued. They didn't. They cut him and weren't planning on bringing him back. And then he complained in the offseason about not getting enough money because he was being moved to left tackle and he wanted to get left tackle pay. And then he ended up blowing the load all over the fucking field instead of actually playing left tackle. And then made absolutely no sense. It made absolutely no sense. It was a shame that Jack Driscoll went down because I feel like the offensive line was starting to gain some stability at that point in time because Jack Driscoll was playing great as a rookie. No, he's not coming back. Is Jason Peters coming back next year? God, no, he better not. I swear if he comes back, I'm going to lose my marbles. I'll lose my fucking marbles. I'm telling you, is he coming back next year? Screw that. If he comes back next year, I like Howie Roseman needs to be like gone yesterday. Franklin says, I have nothing bad to say about Carson Wentz in the long run. He's made some amazing plays, put his heart and soul into the game, got us to the Super Bowl in one way, shape, or form. Yeah, man. There's no way that Nick Foles would have got us there if Carson Wentz didn't get us home field advantage. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. Us going on the road, Nick Foles playing on the road in the playoffs, I don't think we would have seen the same result. That's just facts. It's just facts. We have to look at it that way. Yeah, we really do. We got to look at it that way. Pulling off a flea flicker in the NFC Championship game against the Vikings. If he did that in Minnesota on the road, I would have been completely shocked. And AJ Styles says he used to like Carson too. Yeah. And here's the thing about that. AJ. I still, and I say this with a little bit of hesitance because I am. He's pissed me off. He's pissed me off. He's pissed me off big time. I still like Carson. I really do. And I was thinking about that a lot today. It's like, God, I gotta remember, how great of a dude he was coming into the Eagles' rookie season. The 2017 season was absolutely magical. The dude stayed in 4 plays after tearing his ACL against the Rams in Los Angeles. You guys remember how tough this guy was? This guy was insanely tough. This guy was the perfect image of what the Philadelphia Eagles needed at the quarterback position. And then it all went to shit. And you think Carson just woke up one day and decided that? No. He realized that Doug Peterson was fucking dumb and Howie Roseman was a fucking weasel and that Jeffrey Lurie let Howie Roseman be a weasel. Like, I was really excited when we found out that we had John Dorsey, and then I was really upset when we found out that John Dorsey got a more prominent role to be in Detroit. And I want to talk about that a little bit because it is pretty important to talk about. I feel like that went unnoticed. John Dorsey orchestrated that Matthew Stafford trade. Think about that for a second. Let me know what you guys think about that. And here's the thing, too. If John Dorsey was still in this front office, we might be seeing aggressive trades. It's I just don't trust Howie Roseman. And when Nick Sirianni said that Howie Roseman had control of the 53 at the end of his press conference, it said it all. I mean, it's not like we didn't already know that, right? Of course we fucking knew that. We're not dumb. We've known that for years. And it's been what's screwing this team up. Another interesting thing too that I want to talk about Carson Wentz and the trade rumors as well is obviously the Saints. There's been a report that the Saints offered a 2nd and a 5th round pick for Carson Wentz, and obviously that's just not going to get it done, guys. A 2nd and a 5th round pick is just not going to get it done. So unless you're going to send us Marshawn Lattimore to go along with that 2nd and 5th round pick, then that's a different story. Imagine that. Marshawn Lattimore paired with Darius Slay. Woo! Baby. That would be great. That would be phenomenal. That would be so good. That would be so good. But here's the thing too. And I think that is pretty crazy. Just to think about the fact that the Saints offered a deal, or made an offer for Carson Wentz. That Saints could be a possibility because instant Super Bowl. I mean it wouldn't be instant Super Bowl obviously, but like the Saints are already good. Sean Payton is going to turn Carson Wentz, if that were to happen, into an MVP quarterback. This is going to be like when the San Diego Chargers decided to give up on Phillip Rivers, and then the Saints, or not Phillip Rivers, I apologize about that, Drew Brees, and then the Saints brought in Drew Brees. And Drew Brees obviously turned into one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. That's exactly what this is going to be. I guarantee you Carson Wentz is going to dominate next season. Carson Wentz is going to throw for 3,200 plus yards. It's going to be a 35 plus touchdown season. It's going to happen. You've heard it here first. And we're going to be looking over our shoulder because Jalen Hurts is not ready. Look, I was completely impressed with Jalen Hurts, but he's not ready. He's not ready, guys. He's just not ready. Oh, and I don't want Justin Fields. And I don't want a quarterback in the first round unless it's Trevor Lawrence. And I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think that's going to happen. But here's the thing. Let's say we get the 21st pick in the first round from the Indianapolis Colts, and we still have our 6th pick. Perfect time, right? You take Kyle Pitts at pick 6, and then you hope to God that Micah Parsons is still there at 21. Just imagine that. But it probably won't. He probably will be gone by that point. Somebody will probably take him at like 10 or 11 or 12 or something like that. I think Micah Parsons is going to drop a little bit, but it's fine. It's absolutely fine. And again, Howie Roseman is not going to take a linebacker in the first round. It's just not going to happen because Howie Roseman is just... He's a little weasel from Brooklyn, guys, and I have nothing against Brooklyn. I lived in Brooklyn for 3 years. I absolutely loved living in Brooklyn. It's just it's the weasel part of him that drives me absolutely insane. But hey, what are we going to do? Jeffrey Lurie absolutely loves this guy, and we have to stick with Jeffrey Lurie because he's the owner. That's just the fact. The facts. These are just the facts that matter. Yeah, and reports are heating up. And here's the thing. Because I love Carson Wentz, because I still have an affinity for Carson Wentz. I am. Once he gets traded, guys, and once he gets traded, I am going to do a tribute to Carson Wentz in memoriam, on the channel here, and we're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna enjoy it, or at least we're gonna try to, or we're all gonna fucking cry together, because he's going to blow it up wherever he goes, and that's just the matter. And that's just the fact of the matter. So, tell me what you guys think about the running back position. I brought that up in previous streams. I want to know what you guys think about the running back position. Obviously, Miles Sanders is gold. I still like him. Obviously, he had a bad year in the receiving game. I think that's going to get corrected under Nick Sirianni. I really do. I really am excited about Nick Sirianni. I really am. I think he was a little nervous in front of the Philadelphia media, but let's be honest, guys. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie set him up for failure. Like, they knew he was going to get Carson Wentz questions. And those questions should have been directed at Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman should have been there. I don't care what you got to do. Whether you got to do Facebook Messenger, whether you got to do Facebook Messenger video call in, whether you got to do a Zoom video call in, whether you got to do a Marco Polo video call in, or whether you got to do some sort of, shindig or shoe shot. I don't care, man. I don't care. When's the last time we saw a GM not fucking call in for the introductory press conference for a head coach? When's the last time that we saw that? When's the last time that we saw Howie Roseman do that? I don't remember. Kyle Trask, I know. AJ, I know. Kyle Trask. He says Kyle Trask. See, Franklin, I told you, AJ Styles loves Kyle Trask. He wants Kyle Trask, and it's great. And it's great. Kyle Trask is a great idea. I just don't want to take him in the first round. I just don't want to take him in the first round, bro. I just don't want to do it. Late second round, maybe early third round, maybe. But we don't have a late second round pick. We have a early second round pick, and pick 38 is just too high. It's just too high for me. Or actually, technically, it'd be pick 39, right? That's just too high for me, to be completely honest. So, let's see. We need somebody like LeGarrette Blount. Besides that, I love the running backs. I think we should bring Darren Sproles in to be part of the coaching staff. Great idea, man. Yeah, no, I was thinking the same. Thing. Here's the thing, though. They brought in Darren Sproles and Connor Barwin to bring to be personnel scouting assistants, didn't they, last season? So I think Darren Sproles is working for the organization. I think he still is that. I think he still is doing that. You know who I would love for them to bring in to be a part of the coaching staff? Brian Westbrook. That'd be phenomenal. Brian Westbrook gets his hands on Miles Sanders. Whew. It'd be kind of like having Deuce. Back there. You know, obviously we don't know how great of a coach Brian Westbrook would be, but like, you know, Brian was still there for Shady McCoy's rookie season. You know what I mean? And obviously I'm sure Shady like soaked his knowledge and advice up like a fucking sponge. You know what I mean? Yeah, me too. You love Boston Scott and Miles Sanders. Yeah, me too, man. I think we're going to be able to see a lot more packages where we'll have Boston Scott and Miles Sanders on the field. I feel like Nick Sirianni's going to, and this new staff, you know, I am going to talk about their age a little bit, but I do think that they do bring in some really creative ideas, some really creative philosophies, and they contrast with each other really well. You know, honestly, Shane Steichen, or is it Shane Steichen, or is it our passing game coordinator? I think it's our passing game coordinator, who has definite a lot of background experience in the RPO, which would have been great for Carson, but he's leaving. And then Shane Steichen, obviously, you know, they had an okay dynamic offense in San Diego, or in LA for the Chargers, but yeah, my point is that they bring in contrasting ideas, and I think that we're going to be able to see a lot more packages where we got Boston Scott and Miles Sanders on the field at the same time, and I think it's going to look like Miles Sanders in the slot. There's going to be packages where Miles Sanders in the slot because what they did in Indianapolis with Nyheim Hines, they converted him from wide receiver to running back, and then they moved him in the slot a lot for certain packages, and it's all about what I was talking about before. It's about it's about making sure that you get your guys in space, get your matchup, get your weapons in space, get your playmakers in space, and create mismatches so that you have as many mismatch nightmares as you can when you go into game day. And honestly, we had that ability last season. Is that it's just that Doug was not who we thought he was going to be, guys. He wasn't. It wasn't Doug in 2016. It wasn't Doug in 2017. It was Frank. I hate to break it to us. Or I hate to break it to anybody, but it was Frank. And we know that. We know that by now. It's clear cut as a nice warm piece of bread. Nice warm piece of bread. You know what I mean? My analogies are outrageously dorky this evening, and I have no idea why, but it's fine. It's fine. You know. Sometimes when you're talking about the birds, sometimes you just got to be dorky because that's what this fucking organization does to us. That's what this organization does to us. It really does. There's another thing why I'm excited about this coaching staff, and while we're on it, yeah, their youth scares me a little bit. It really does. Their youth scares me a little bit. Our new linebackers coach is 27 years old, guys. 27 years old. I just turned 30. Like on the 28th of January. He's younger than I am. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? You know what I mean? Like, where and like, did I miss the moment? Did I miss the moment where it was cool for coaches to start coaching at 27? Like, this guy better be like fucking phenomenal. I swear. Like, he better turn Alex Singleton into a fucking stud. And I am excited about Alex Singleton. He is the one bright spot that I will point to about that entire defense last year. Because let's be honest, Darius Slay did not live up to the billing. I'm not down on Slay because I know how great of a player Darius Slay is. And Jim Schwartz just didn't know how to use players. Just factual. And that's mainly because he was so stubborn with his scheme. You knew it was over for Doug when he wrote a book. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was way in over his head, wasn't he? I was fearless. Doug Peterson. Fearless. Going for it on 4th and 1 in the Super Bowl. We called the Philly special, and it was me. And then Nick comes out like a day later. Actually, it was me who called the Philly special. But I was fearless. I was the fearless one. I'm Doug Peterson. Fucking stupid. Oh, boy. I'm not sure on Darius Slay either. I had bigger hopes for him. Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. Do you think they're gone? Yeah. Alshon Jeffrey, yes. Deshaun Jackson, no. And I will say this, Deshaun Jackson, I actually pretty much the entire season, I've said this, I don't want Deshaun Jackson to leave. I want Deshaun Jackson to be here. I do think that they need to restructure his contract, but I think that Deshaun Jackson is the only one who's going to be able to offer some sort of sanity for this regime, this organization. He's the only one who will be able to bring some sort of sanity to this locker room. That's what I believe. Isn't that crazy? Now, I don't hate Deshaun Jackson. I don't think he's like a rah-rah type of guy. I really don't. I mean, obviously, we know the history of Deshaun, and he's been like that. But as he's gotten older, he hasn't really been like that. But like, Deshaun knows what this team was like before Chip Kelly. You know, he was drafted by Andy Reid. Remember? So I think Deshaun Jackson stays. I think Alshon Jeffrey is gone. I think that's why they restructured his deal. And I think Darius Slay will be a lot better next season. I think Jonathan Gannon is going to be a stud defensive coordinator. I really do. I'm really excited about Jonathan Gannon as a defensive coordinator. I really am. Wide receivers. What do I think about the 3 wide receivers, not running backs? 3 wide receivers that we picked up in the draft last year. Jalen Reagor, John Hightower, Quez Watkins. I am underwhelmed by Jalen Reagor. I am underwhelmed. I am not impressed. Do I think that he has a skill set that needs to be utilized better? Yes. Do I think that he could have had a better rookie season with a different coach? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And so that's why I'm willing to give him another year. But I am upset with I am to the point where I am upset with the fact that we just have had a horrible time developing guys, developing wide receivers specifically. Um, but here's the thing. John Hightower showed us a lot of promise, guys. He showed us a lot of promise. It was the Pittsburgh Steelers and it was the Baltimore Ravens, and then it was the New York Giants. But it was Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens. He had a 57-yarder from Carson Wentz and a 59-yarder against the Ravens, and back to back. And it's like, and in my head at the time, I'm like, okay, if that's the guy who's catching the deep balls consistently, when you call them up and you draw them up, why the fuck are you not doing it more? Why are you not doing it more? Like, why? Why? But here's the thing. Let me get to this too. He was getting open. He was having some difficulty catching the ball. But you coach that up. That was my huge thing with John Hightower last season. That should have been corrected right away. Like, have the dude stay after practice. Have buy the dude a jugs machine so that he has like 3 of them at his home. Like, do everything you can to make sure that he catches the fucking ball every time it gets thrown to him, because he's getting open. He's getting separation. He's got the burners. Quez Watkins, however, I think that falls on Doug. And what I mean by I say that is there is no reason for us waiting until week 14 or week 13, whenever it was, to finally see Quez Watkins come on the field. And Quez Watkins looked phenomenal. That's my opinion of Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins looked phenomenal, guys. And so I'm really excited about the potential of Quez Watkins. I'm excited about the potential of all 3 of them. But I'm more so excited about the potential of John Hightower and Quez. And for me, and it's not me shutting the door on Jalen Reagor either. I just think for a first round pick, he didn't show me first round picks worth of work. So yeah. Harry Roseman. Yeah. That, I mean, I 53. He's in charge of the 53 guys. And like, Nick Sirianni comes out and he says in his press conference, yeah, Harry Roseman's in charge of the 53, but I'm in charge of the 46, the game day 46. Okay. And that has notoriety. How? If Harry Roseman's in charge of the 53, that means that he can choose whoever the fuck he wants. You only get to say who's active on game day. Okay. But the 7 other guys, it's just, you know where I'm going with this. What about Greg Ward Jr.? I like Greg Ward. I really do. I wish he was a bit faster. If Greg Ward was just a little bit, if he was a step quicker, he would be a phenomenal wide receiver. But Greg Ward, he does have some wheels on him. There were some plays where I was shocked about how quickly he got open. The one thing about Greg Ward, Franklin, is we gotta evaluate that dude's journey, right? He converted from quarterback to become a wide receiver. He was on the practice squad for like 2 years and finally got the chance in like week 13, it was in 2018 or 2019, and was Carson's go-to guy for the final month of that season, and did phenomenal. Greg Ward, let alone Carson, like Greg Ward was the other reason for why we were able to win the final 4 games in 2019 and go into the playoffs. Greg Ward Jr. and Jalen Hurts. God, that's weird. Yeah. Greg Ward Jr. and Jalen Hurts. Yeah. Jalen Hurts is good. Jalen Hurts is good. Let me explain this. I was impressed with Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts can get the job done. Okay. I think Jalen Hurts can do an adequate job. I think what's really important, though, going into this season is we need to focus on the running game because until we feel good about Jalen Hurts, and that's if Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback. There is the chance that we take a quarterback high in the first round, and it's not going to be Jalen Hurts. So we just don't know. But if it is Jalen Hurts, I'm excited about the potential of Jalen Hurts. I don't really have much negative to say about Jalen Hurts, but yeah, I think here's the thing. I'll say this: Jalen Hurts did a great job finding wide receivers when Carson was not. So I am not worried about that connection whatsoever. And while we're at it, while we're talking about wide receivers, let's talk about Travis Fulgham. Travis Fulgham is a number one, guys. Travis Fulgham is a number one wide receiver. Jalen Reagor is not. Greg Ward, we know what he's good at. He's great in the slot. Let's keep him there. I'm hoping that Quez Watkins develops into the other number one because I think that he can. But I think Travis Fulgham is definitely that big body number one. And he's great at high pointing the ball. He's physical. He can run the route tree. He can do everything that you need to do. He just needs some more coaching. We have to remember what Travis Fulgham did for that 4 weeks until they finally mysteriously pulled him off the field because Alshon Jeffrey suddenly became healthy. He led the league in receiving yards for his first 4 weeks and receptions and touchdowns. So I think that's the way to go. I think that they're going to try, and I want them to, and I do know this though, that Greg Ward Jr.'s contract is up. Travis Fulgham's contract is up. And I think that they should bring those guys back. Hopefully on cheap deals. Greg Ward Jr. is probably going to be able to demand a little bit more money just because he has a little bit more experience with us than Travis Fulgham does. But I think we could probably get Travis Fulgham on a cheap 2-year deal. What do you guys think? Greg Ward, I would say give Greg Ward maybe 3 for $16. 3 for $16. Do you guys think that's fair? Do you think that's too much? Let me know. 3 for $16. It's a little bit above five per year. I think he deserves it. You know what I mean? So, but I'll tell you this. After seeing Kyle Pitts, after falling in love with Kyle Pitts, I don't want Jamar Chase. Would I take Jamar Chase? If would I be okay with that pick? Yeah. Would I be okay with Devontae Smith? Yeah. But I mean, Kyle Pitts he's going to be a fucking stud, guys. He's going to be a generational talent. And, my other boys on YouTube, Philly 500 and LB Lord Brunson, they agree. They've come to love Kyle Pitts as well. And he's just one of those guys, man. He might turn into a Travis Kelce. And we have to remember that. Like the cheetah, like Tyreek Hill would not be Tyreek Hill without Travis Kelce. And we have to remember that too. Because we have a lot of speed. We have a lot of speed now. And that comment there perfectly wraps up this entire conversation because that's exactly what we're talking about. These 3 wide receivers that we drafted last year. John Hightower is quick, man. Quez Watkins is quick, dude. Philly 500 is great, isn't he, Franklin? I love Philly 500. He's my guy. Yeah, I was talking to him the other day about this whole Carson situation, and he's kind of in the boat where until Carson says something, it's hard to really gauge what he's really thinking, and he's right. The dude had a baby. Carson, we have to remember that too, man. Carson. Do I think Dallas Goedert. That's a tough ask, man. That's a tough ask. Do I think Dallas Goedert would surpass Zach Ertz? That's a really tough ask, man. Because here's the thing, Zach Ertz won us that Super Bowl, dude. You remember that final drive? It was fourth down from midfield. It was fourth down on midfield, and I think it was like fourth and 3. Nick Foles throws a pass. Zach Ertz barely reaches across the sticks, gets the first down, and then he goes down the field and then makes that football move to get into the end zone. Zach Ertz got us that Super Bowl win. He really did. Well, so did Brandon Graham. Obviously, I'm not going to discontinue. I'm not going to like disregard anybody. Obviously, we know what Brandon Graham did. He stripped Tom Brady, and it was phenomenal. And we know what Corey Clement did, and we know what Nick Foles did, and we know what all of these guys did, and Trey Burton. But those guys are gone. And Zach Ertz, will Dallas Goedert surpass Zach Ertz? That day is a tough, tall glass of water. You know what I mean? Zach Ertz has been one of the best tight ends we've had in a long time. He's better than L.J. Smith. He's better than Chad Lewis. He's better than a lot of players. He's run his routes better than a lot of wide receivers we've had on this team. He really has. And he probably can still do it, guys. Zach Ertz can probably still ball. You know? He was horrible the first 4 weeks of the season, but then he got hurt and he came back and he looked like I expected him to look. He looked good. He looked decent. He didn't look his best, but he looked decent. You know, I feel like they're trying to paint this narrative like Zach Ertz is some old as fuck tight end, and he's not. Guys, the dude can still ball. And here's the thing. If we draft Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert is definitely not going to surpass Zach Ertz because Kyle Pitts is going to be better than Dallas Goedert. And that's saying a lot because I think highly of Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is really athletic. He really is. And I am excited. I am excited for the day that comes when Dallas Goedert will be the starting tight end. I am excited for that day because I think he's going to do a phenomenal job. And we have to remember that Dallas Goedert started off the season phenomenally. Dallas Goedert and Carson Wentz started off the season great together. Well, just as far as strictly that connection goes, obviously Carson was still blowing loads into a brick wall, but you know, it is what it is. We don't have to repaint the picture, guys. We've seen it. We don't have to do it. We don't have to do it again. We've been talking about it over and over and over and over again. But you know, here's the thing. I envision this. Quez Watkins, Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward, Deshaun Jackson, Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, and maybe Jalen Hurts. It's not a bad lineup, guys. It's not a bad lineup. And I do think that they're going to go with an offensive player at pick 6 because that's just the way the cookie crumbles. No, Nick Sirianni. That's the way that Nick Sirianni coaches. That's just the way that it's going to go. Unless Jonathan Gannon gets in his head and says something, but which I wouldn't be against, you know, because who are we going to take at pick 6 that the defense coordinator might suggest? Patrick Surtain, Micah Parsons. Only difference is that Hy Roseman won't do that. So, but hey, that's neither here nor there. What do you guys think about this offensive line? I want to talk about that too. So Brandon Brooks, right? Activated, you know, remember he was on the 21-day active window going into week 17. They activated him and then they deactivated him for the week 17 game. So Brandon Brooks is healthy. That we know, but his cap hit is going to reach to like sky limit levels in the next couple seasons. And so do we cut bait because obviously, as we all know, we need the cap space. And there's going to be some guys that we can get. Like you're talking about Shane Steichen, our new offensive coordinator. There's going to be 3 starting offensive linemen that are going to be. There's going to be 3 starting offensive linemen for the Los Angeles Chargers that are going to be free agents. And we're talking about Dan Feeney. We're talking about Forrest Lamp, and we're talking about Mike Pouncey. Mike Pouncey, not Marcus Pouncey, but it is Mike Pouncey. Obviously, the Pouncey brothers, all going to be free agents coming from the Los Angeles Chargers. Do you think it would be good to pick up one of them? Obviously, we did talk about Jack Driscoll and how he would be a great. And how he did show a lot of promise as a rookie, but he did get hurt. My hope is that he is healthy enough for camp and we don't miss a beat with him, because I was really excited about the fact that Jack Driscoll did so well. Do you think a quarterback, AJ? I don't know what you mean, man. Do you think a quarterback? Are you talking about Kyle Trask? I don't know. Yeah, look, here's the thing. As I've said before, if we're going to take a quarterback in the first round, I want it to be Trevor Lawrence. And it's going to be a tough task. Just imagine, though, guys. Just imagine if Howie Roseman got it into his head that he wants to go ahead and try and be aggressive again and try and move up. It's not completely like an off the wall thought. I do feel a little silly trying to talk about it, but I'm just saying, like, it's not that crazy. It's not that crazy. You know what I mean? Like, what if the Jacksonville Jaguars are calling about Carson Wentz? What would it take? What would it take to get that first round pick or that first pick? Let's say the Jacksonville Jaguars are calling about Carson Wentz and they want to offer the first pick, and I know that we're in La La Land right now, but hey, just do me a solid and roll with me, please. I think that what would it take? A second round pick in Carson? A second round pick in Carson, maybe Carson, a second round pick and a first round pick next year. Would you guys do that for the first pick in the draft? Would you guys do that? Or would you give up Carson Wentz and pick 6 to move up to pick 1? I think that's a little too much, to be honest with you, because it's only 5 spot difference. I think it's only a 5 spot difference. I think a second round pick and a first round pick next year. Would you guys do that, or do you guys think that that's too much? If we drafted Trevor Lawrence, then I think the offseason's already a win. Honestly, I think I'm not going to say already a win. I'm not going to say that, but I think that it would probably ease a lot of Philadelphia Eagle fans' minds after trading Carson Wentz. Would it ease your guys' minds if we drafted Trevor Lawrence after trading Carson Wentz? If we found a way to do that, would you guys be cool with that? Would you guys be cool with that? Do you guys even like Trevor Lawrence as much as the national media does? Or is he just not your style? Let me know. I want to know. Kyle Trask reminds me too much of Carson. Honestly, AJ. He reminds me too much of Carson. Unfortunately. And we have to remember this. He was having a horrible season until Brian Johnson helped him turn it around. And it's not bad. It happens, but but the hope is that it shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? So there's that. Or what if the Eagles trade for, Aaron Rodgers or something? Just kidding. Speaking of the linebackers, Indianapolis Colts linebacker Anthony Walker is going to be a free agent as well, Franklin. So I'm hoping that they don't resign him, because I know that he's shown a lot of promise and they very well could resign him. But plugging him in to our linebacker core next to Alex Singleton would be like phenomenal. Would be absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. You know what I mean? But they have to cut bait. They have to cut bait with some of those defensive tackles. And they have to find a way to save some money. I expect Howie Roseman to be able to work his magic. I expect him to do that. Do I like Howie Roseman? No. But do I think that he can work some magic in regards to the cap? Yes, I do, because he does it every single year. So I expect him to do that. And he literally said last year, like, don't worry about the cap. Like, fans should not be worrying about the cap. He literally came out and said that in a press conference. So I'm not going to worry about the cap. I'm not going to worry about the cap. And clearly, Jeffrey Lurie has given Howie Roseman the go to eat that $33 million that Carson Wentz is going to cost us, because they're going to trade him, guys. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I would not be surprised if it happens on Super Bowl Sunday, because that's what we love to do. Just bringing this thing full circle here. Because you guys remember what the Eagles did on championship weekend 2 weeks ago? We hired 3 coaches. Literally 3 coaches on Sunday afternoon. Jonathan Gannon. What is it? Kyle Patullo. I think that's his name. Passing game coordinator. And Shane Steichen. They're like attention-seeking shindigs. They're like attention-seeking, they're like sponges who need like some dish soap. You know, it's like, give me the soap. Give me the soap. I want to clean a dish. Those are sponges. Talking. That's what Howie Roseman is. He needs the attention. And so, yes, he's going to make a big move on Super Bowl Sunday. And I wouldn't be surprised if the trade goes down. But hey, this is DB talking now, DB talking Birds, DB talking Philadelphia Eagles. Franklin, AJ, thank you guys so much for joining me. We're going to be continuing to do some player profiles. We're going to do some profiles on free agents and pending free agents that could possibly help out our team, that could possibly help rejuvenate this franchise, because let's be honest, we need some sort of rejuvenation potion. Yes, I have been playing Witcher a little too much. We're also going to be doing some draft prospect profiles. Obviously I started the first Tuesday reviews day on Tuesday evening, this past Tuesday. So we're going to do that again. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we have a updated. Thank you, Franklin. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you were able to join. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm gonna make sure that we have some updates, and I'm gonna make sure that I keep us on the clock, keep us in the know. You guys, thank you for tuning in. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Have a beautiful, beautiful Friday evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. One love, guys. I will try to do some collaborations with Philly 500. I will try. He knows that I want to, so I will definitely try, Brian. You guys have a beautiful evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. Go Birds, baby.